Come Nivedita and Elena to this is my last class. To this last class. Today we have to cover some of the rest part of our discussions for last 4 days. We are talking about different dimensions of higher education, and particularly if you look into the quality assurance and accreditation, accreditation in higher education. That is NAC. We talk about NAC. NAC is one of the wing of the UGC, University Grant Commission, because on the basis of Niveta, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what is the role of NAC in determining the quality output of an institution? Like all other goods, for example, when we talk about Indian standard items, ISI mark, so there is a certain quality control in every sphere. And if every sphere is undergoing quality control, what about the quality control in higher education? So there is a system which has been generated by UGC to maintain the quality. So quality control can be assured if there will be timely evaluation, assessment. Yesterday I was talking about there are 7 criteria on the basis of which NAC evaluates. And this year they have developed a new design, new model to say the module is the same, that is 7 criteria, but the award will be binary. That is called binary system. One is that your institution is NAC accredited or not accredited. That like that they have to give it, because there are certain issues came up on that how they have developed such things. So now talking about the quality concern, in recent times several developments have taken place which have changed the perception and particularly requirement for higher for quality assurance in higher education. Why there is a need for quality assurance? Because expansion is vast. Expansion and diversification of higher education, demand for greater transparency and accountability. Next is the impact of technology, and then emergence of non-traditional providers of higher education. So traditionally some of the operators they are providing, but now has turned to be a business center. And as you know that higher education has attracted many firms and companies to establish their own universities so that they can satisfy the requirement or need of the students, and by charging high fee. And global competitiveness. Equally, we have to accept these proposals of private universities, because we have to make our system global competitive. What is this global competitive? This means we have to check out, identify the weak areas, weaknesses of existing system in respect of quality assurance. The existing system of quality assurance in higher education operates at a variety of levels and comprises both long-standing elements and recent developments towards national approach. The current practices and its weaknesses may be described as current practice. And what are the current practices? HEIs. Nowadays, universities and colleges are called as HEIs, higher education institutions. As you know that the NEP 2020 has earmarked 3 categories of HEIs. One, that is teaching HEI. Second, research ACI, sorry, teaching and research ACI, and third, that is our research ACI. And it is said so. Now we will look into that what are the current practices. As I said, that HEI is that our NEP has categorized three categories of HEIs. One is teaching, another is teaching research, and research HEIs. The basic plan for a quality assurance framework lies in the establishment of HEIs, mainly universities as self-accrediting institutions through legislation and regulation, and the accreditation of other higher educational institutions or courses by the statutory bodies, academic boards, governing councils have major responsibility for the quality of educational provisions, including the academic standards. A number of external mechanisms for reviewing the aspects of internal university activities are of long standing among the universities. These include the use of external examiners for higher tasks done by the research and some of the honors degrees, the role of a professional bodies and association of accrediting professional courses such as medicine, law, management, engineering and architecture, peer review mechanisms in relation to the research funding and the use by universities of a wide variety of internal or external review and reporting procedures for faculties, departments and centers to whole institutions. A lot of things have been said. One, there is internal and external agencies to operate and to control the quality. Second, self-assessment categories. As you know that there is a uh, uh, there is a report submitted before NAC accreditation that is called SAR. SAR means self-assessment record reports. So every institution is to submit a self-assessment report. For example, if you have to cite an example, education department, how many personnel are working, what is their qualification, what is their research, publications, guidance, publication of books, and what is the status of alumni, students' engagement after completion of the course, their notice board, their systems, their presentation, their practical rooms, everything, every detail submitted to the external agency. NAC is an external agency. They are not preparing report. This our SSR, that is self-study report, are being prepared by the institution. What you have studied from your institution, what is the status of your department? If you have 24 departments in a college or university, then what is the status of each department? That must be reflected and there must be document. And these documents should be, there must be soft copy of this document that will be submitted prior to arrival of a third party, assessment of third party. So this is all about the quality monitoring agency. This is all about the quality monitoring agency. Another, there is also certain shortcomings. What are the shortcomings? There are, however, several weaknesses in current mechanisms. These are lack of clear mechanisms for ensuring comparable standards in judgments in different states status for different institutions. The criteria for recognition as a university, such as central, state, or deemed university, to be university institutions, national importance, etc., widely differ. So criteria for university is different from a central university, is different from state university from colleges. So this criteria, it is said that institutions of national importance, etc., widely differ, and therefore it needs to be reviewed. There is a lack of transparency. So now it is said, why there is a binary system? Why there is binary system of accreditation? Binary means two. Bi means two. Two system. One is accredited or not accredited. So if you say that your institution is good enough, for example, the external members, they are coming from different institutions, they get a prior idea, they preconceive that this institution is good, bad, or like that. Because before coming over here, they study and they also look at your website, they go through the matter, they also take the stock from the students. But sometimes it is clear, not clear, that how one institution is being graded A plus plus and why A minus, or sorry, A, and there is B plus plus. There is lack of transparency. What are the criteria on which basis you are doing? That is the thing. So the quality assurance should cover the academic affairs of institutions relating to courses, staff qualification, research, academic administration, decision making mechanism, services, facilities in support of academic process. These are some of the criteria we know that these criteria are there. What is quality assurance and accreditation? Quality assurance refers to the policies, attitudes, actions, and procedures necessary to ensure that quality is being maintained and enhanced. That is called quality assurance. As an institution, you should assure there is quality. Further, accreditation refers to an evaluation of whether an institution qualifies for a certificate status. The status may have implications for the institution itself and or its students, eligibility of grants. So why you need a status? Why you need a certificate? Because that certificate will provide you grant. On the basis of a certificate, the aid will be provided to your institutions. So the context is that in respect of a university, these people are not changed. For example, one professor in a department heading the department. So constantly someone is serving in that department from the beginning to end. If there is no change, also although there are some professors they change to different universities. But at the same time you can say in colleges there is frequent transfer, there is vacancy. So the context is different in respect of university and colleges. Nowadays, that is large scale vacancies in universities and colleges as well as colleges. So how accreditation will be there if you do not have regular faculty of teaching? There are two major purposes which accreditation serves. One is quality assurance, determining the standard of quality and performance of a minimum acceptability in interest of a public. And the other is quality improvement, providing the service that is designed to improve institutions and programs through an external review process. The principal elements of our existing system of accreditation and quality assurance is higher education, that universities are established by the state under legislation with the authority to accredit their own programs and are primarily responsible for their quality assurance. So state universities are largely depending on the state machineries administration for its quality upgradation, upskilling, its development. The center and state governments have a responsibility for establishment of institutions for approving new applications from the institutions. So what is this NAC? The approach of and methodology evolved by National Assessment and Accreditation Council or NAC incorporates all the essential elements of quality assurance and accreditation as we shall discuss here. There are some points here we can discuss. One is that NAC is an autonomous institution established by UGC in 1994. NAC. So now, question to Nivedita. You say, what is NAC?
Sir, the full form of NAC is National Assessment and Accreditation Council, and it's a external agency which monitor universities that it achieved the standard or not. According that, it gives grade to it, um, because of which the institution get a fund for further development.
Very good, very good. Nice. Elena, can you add something?
Yes, sir.
What is NAC?
Sir,
And
yes,
why
sir.
NAC? Huh.
So NAC is the National Assessment and Accreditation Council. It conducts assessments and accreditation for higher educational institutions such as colleges, universities, and like that only higher educational institutions. And it checks the quality status of the institution. Means the study related everything and research related everything.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. How many criteria are there?
7
How?
criteria.
Yes, good. There are 7 criteria. And a NAC is an autonomous body. The headquarters of NAC is at Bangalore. It was established by UGC in 1994. The primary objective of NAC was to assess and accredit institutions of higher learning or education with an objective of helping them to work continuously to improve the quality education. To improve the quality education. So NAC formulated three-stage process of assessment and accreditation. One, preparation of SSR. What is SSR? That is self-study report. Who will prepare a self-study report? That each individual, each institution are to prepare their self-study report. So preparation for self-study report or SSR by the institution to be submitted to NAC. Validation of SSR by peer visiting the institutions. The final decision for NAC is based on this SSR and the recommendation of the team of peers. So the team which is external team which visited to the institution, they are called peer teams. What is the meaning of a peer? Peer means friends. So they are not externals. They say we are peers. We work in the institution like yours. So we are like you. We want to show you, see you, and also grade you because we are working in that. So that is the general impression that the team of NAC members, they are from outside. No, somewhere they are working in institution because they are the peers, they are the friends. And how this self uh, self study report is prepared, and what is the duration of one NAC accreditation to next? That is for 5 years. That means the NAC accreditation is valid for 5 years. So after 5 years, uh, you see after 5 years, again you have to go for accreditation. And on the basis of accreditation, there will be funding. And there is a question. Is it that after only 5 years, an institution is submitting a report? No. Every year, there is a QAR. This quality assurance, QAR stands for annual quality assurance report. So every year, you have to submit it by December. Sometimes it is extended to. So while you are submitting a QAR, after 5 years, these QARs are also your documents. These QARs are also prepared on the basis of 7 criteria. So preparation for SSR, visit to the institutions, final decision of the NAC, and the NAC awards point. What is the point? That what are the points they award? The criteria for assessment, curricular aspect, teaching, learning, evaluation, research, consultancy and extension, infrastructure and learning resources, student support and programs, progression, student support and progression, organization and management, and healthy practices, best practices. That is called best practices. So what is this best practices? That means you are unique from others. Under curricular aspects, the goals and objectives of an institution should be defined, its distinctive character, addressed to the needs of the society and students. It has to be reflected in all these aspects, like a tradition of the institution, its vision for future. It requires information on how curriculum design is done and how the role of institution is accommodated in curriculum designing. Teaching learning evaluation, this is another criteria. It deals with the institution providing appropriate teaching learning experiences to learners. Adequacy, competency of the faculty who handle various programs. Research and consultancy, extension program. It also deals with the facilitating aspects of institutions. That is called research and what are the best practices? The criterion should be innovative and unique practices. There must be innovative practices, unique practices. What is unique? And what is the mark they provide? Parameters. For example, in university, on criteria weightage, the parameters and weightage adopted by NAC. There are three categories of institution. One is university, another is affiliated colleges, third one is autonomous. So curricular aspects, 15 in university, 10 in affiliated colleges and 15 in autonomous college. Teaching, learning and evaluation in university 25, affiliated college 40, autonomous college 30. Research and consultancy 15, continuing affiliated college 5, autonomous college 10. Infrastructure and learning resources is 15, affiliated college 15, autonomous college 15. Student support program 10, 15, 10. Organization and management 10, 10, 10. Best practices 10, 10, 10. So on the basis of these weightage, if the overall score is more than 55%, the institution gets the accreditation status, and any score less than that will be not accredited. So in each criteria under that you have to go for. So now we can say if an institution is acquiring A++, what is the score? A++ means the score is from 95 to 100. A plus means 90 to 95. A is equal to 85 to 90. B plus 80 to 85. B plus 75 to 80, B 70 to 75, C plus 65 to 70, C plus 60 to 65, C 55 to 60. That means if you are getting 55, you are in C. If you are getting 95, you are in A plus plus. So all the institutions, they try to get 95%. So like UGC, the NAC, that is also National Board of Accreditation that has been associated with AICT for accreditation of technical professional management institutions. Nivita, you say, we talked about NAC. NAC is for general colleges and universities. Which organization conduct accreditation of technical universities and technical management institutions?
Sir, AICTE.
Yes, AICT is like UGC. AICT provides recognition. One institution is being recognized by AICT, but their quality accreditation is conducted by National Board of Accreditation. Here it is NAC, but there that is NBA. For technical universities, that is NBA, National Board of Accreditation. So what is the concept of the benefits of this National Policy on Education 86 and the Program of Action 1986 and 92 responded to this concern of initiating action. Accordingly, the colleges and universities were encouraged to make a voluntary self-assessment of their performance. A council, the policy stated, this led to the establishment of a NAC in 1994. NAC aguru nathila. NAC paravarti paryayare asila. It came up in 1994. What are the challenges of this quality initiative, quality monitoring initiative? A large number of institutions are offering distance education programs. They use multimedia strategy, enroll a higher number of students, heterogeneous backgrounds, and differ considerably in their capacity to use electronic media and delivery of institutions. So this development has serious implications for quality assurance. What are the challenges? The challenges are many. A similar concern arises in the context of international students' mobility due to globalization we are talking about. Another concern is that the quality assurance system have to constantly modify their procedures to address the growing variety of open and distance education. So the major chunk of the education is distance and ODL system. ODL system. So how to conduct quality assessment of this ODL is a challenge. A joint effort between institutions and accrediting bodies would be needed to ensure good coordination and communication so that they can adhere to an ethical code of conduct, good practices, objectively, free and fair, rigorous in task, accomplishing the quality assessment and accreditation. So that is very important. So activity of the unit is to discuss the global changes that have led to the emergence of accreditation assessment as an essential requirement for higher education. So let us progress to the next another. That is evolving professional roles of university teachers. What is the professional roles of the teachers? Professionals profess. They profess. They know how better than others the nature of certain matters. And this is the essence of the professional's idea and the professional claims from it. As the teachers at higher education gained more recognition and status, particularly after the turn of the century, they become more self-conscious, that is, more conscious of themselves as a professional group and distinct interests and concerns. This led to the professionalization. Professionalization, however, took two forms in academic life. One was the profession of a specialist, physicist, psychologist, philosophers, etc., who had common interests in a specialized subject. The second was the profession of university teachers who shared similar responsibilities in the university and had presumably the same rights and obligations in the institution. In current situation where because of market driven reforms, competition for jobs has greatly increased, there are many expectations and roles of teacher to play in university. We expect more and more role to be played by university teachers, college teachers. Why? Because there are a lot of reforms. So nowadays, there is teaching is not only criteria. Teaching is not only job. Teaching is not the focus. There are many things to be conducted. There are many things to be conducted. So therefore, a teacher is to perform different role. A teacher is to perform controller, register, college development programs, CDC. So many things you have to do in a college. Advise your students who are discipline, examination charge, academic bursar, administrative bursar, so many things. So there are so many issues related to teaching at the university level, teaching and research, extension functions, margin, managerialism in education. Teachers are as managers. How to look at that teachers perform a greater role as the managers. A number of developments in recent years have led to changes in the ways in which the teachers do their jobs and the relationship the profession has both within educational institution and with the wider community. During 1960s and 70s, education was accepted as a part of public or national good. During economic recession in the 1970s, this perception about education broke down and it was singled out for criticisms as failing in its contribution to the creation of economic wealth. The fallout of this criticism was the direct linking of the activities of education to economic benefits. The general acceptance of such causation meant that the teachers there would in the future be an expectation that their professional activities would have to be more efficiently, effectively managed to produce economically tangible results. These factors contributed to the emergence of a managerialism, both as a political philosophy and as a set of systems and practices designed for the management of public services. One of the characteristics of marginalism has been its adoption of the discourses to some idealized notion business education is considered as some kind of a commodity. Particularly role of a teacher when there is professionalism to develop and the role of a teacher is different. When managerialism is there, why a teacher is to perform managerial role? Because education is considered as some kind of a commodity which consumers purchase. This is a very simple way we can explain that what is the merit or what is the for teachers this means that where they were able to exercise considerable professional autonomy over the selection of a knowledge and the way it would be taught. Their activities in the classroom are now more tightly controlled. This leaves teachers with less room for exercising both professional autonomy and professional authority. What is this? There are two concepts. One is professional autonomy and professional authority. Why such thing happen? Because the fallout of this is that curriculum now tends to arrive neatly packaged positions, each complete with aims, objectives, tasks, and assessments. The curriculum has become more standardized, pre-packaged curriculum. Com- it, i- it compensates the teachers for lack of a preparation timetable. So there are many things now changed. They limit the intellectual and emotional scope of a teacher's work. So as you know, the role of a teacher is not only to teach, transact the curriculum only, to give human touch, emotional sharing, social cooperation. And these are some of the vital inputs are lacking nowadays because the context is that the pre-packaged curriculum where there is it gives the teacher less space. Teachers does not get professional autonomy. Professional authority. The role of a teacher in managing education and institution is being moved away from managing the curriculum towards managing tasks and systems. As a responsibility for designing one's own curricula, one's own teaching decreased. Responsibility over technical tasks and management concerns come to the fore. All this pushes the teaching profession out from the traditional concerns and activities towards a new direction. So role of a teacher has been changed. So now the question is, what is a profession? Whether there is a code of a conduct of a profession, it is likely to be internalized in that profession own consciousness of itself, unless it corresponds to the profession's own deepest institutions of the service it has to offer and values which are consonant with that service. What is a profession? How does it differ from occupation? During the past few decades, occupational groups such as teachers have frequently been labeled unproductive. And it is said, Holly and John have argued that The term profession itself is an essentially contested concept. Indeed, they suggest there is considerable evidence that professions are more easily instanced than defined. The unitary notion of a professional community masks a vast array of competing positions which characterize a service profession such as teaching. The term profession is seen and understood as both a concept in use and a theoretical underpinning. Performs a crucial social function, demands considerable skill for use in routine and especially non-routine situations. Requires numbers to draw on a body of systematic knowledge. University teaching is as a profession. University teaching in the present century has been regarded as more than just an occupation through which a livelihood is obtained. When it is called a profession, it is meant that is some important way it differs from other occupations. So here it is said there is a difference between occupation and profession. So we sometimes use the term, what is your father's occupation? But nowadays we say, what is your father's profession? Particularly those who are working for livelihood, it is called occupation. Particularly those who work for livelihood. What is livelihood? For example, a daily wager, he is struggling for collecting his livelihood. And we term as it is his occupation. A carpenter, a mason, a painter, all these them are struggling for livelihood. When it is called a profession, it is meant that in some important way it differs from other occupations, the fortunes of which are to be determined by the vicissitude of a market or governmental policy, even though the pressures are increasing being felt from this direction now. We have already discussed that a profession is an occupation, the practice of which requires a more than ordinary amount of complex knowledge acquired by persistent and systematic study and authoritative certificate. So profession is far and far different. It is something not a complex set of knowledge which is acquired by persistent systematic study. This is, for example, your medicine, engineering, academic profession. Absolutely, there is a need of knowledge, power, knowledge. The profession needs professional ethics, and to be profession, you have to add your own, which is this learning or the complex elements. For example, a doctor, when he is studying, he is a student. But when a doctor practices with a motto of welfare service, that is called profession. So that means if you are acquiring knowledge, keeping knowledge within yourself, not utilizing for society, so you cannot be called as a professional. The first, we can say, the systematically studied and acquired knowledge by the academic profession through its internal divisions of labor covers the entire range of systematic study, methodically gained knowledge, parts of which are applied in law, medicine, and engineering. Another role is that acquisition, transmission, and application of knowledge. Acquisition, transmission, and application of knowledge. 3 stages. What is acquisition? If we look at that, the ability to acquire something which is taught to you, but there are many things you acquire without teaching. That is called acquisition. Teaching a means or learning is a means to acquire something. But there are many things, to about 70% things of your life, you acquire it so much because you had an internal frame of desire. So the primary task of academic profession is the acquisition and transmission of knowledge, not its application. Though this is changing and the task of application is becoming increasingly important, the academic profession receives, assimilates, and discovers knowledge by methodical study, and it interprets and transmits that knowledge. It transmits knowledge about the methods of discovery and specifically of the validation of knowledge, even when the teacher's concern is the application of knowledge to practical uses. She herself often does not apply knowledge. When she teaches to practical activities in the teaching technology, for example, the teacher is transmitting knowledge about the application of knowledge. She teaches how knowledge of a particular substance is applied and can be applied to particular practical task. She is not applying that technological knowledge herself. But this is changing as universities are increasingly being expected to generate their own resources, which decline in the state of funding. So that is the context, that how this acquisition is a great work. Acquisition of knowledge. Knowledge is the power. What is acquisition? So teacher transmits knowledge, but teacher transmits information. How teacher transmits information? Because every child is a constructor, knowledge constructor. That's why teachers transmit information. Child makes it a knowledge. And teacher also motivates the child to apply that knowledge. What you have constructed, you should apply in your life. And when we talk, we say that teachers are born, not made. It means that teachers, more is a mission, more is a passion than a profession. Teaching is more a mission, more a passion than a profession. And there must be professional ethics and values. Every profession groups needs to have a certain consensus, the world view in this sense, the outlook regarding the past, present, and the future of a human order and society. Its components and linkages. Principles should have a primary overpurpose. Universal norms should be taken to precedence. National Commission on Teachers 1983 listed some of the elements of the world view which is felt that the teachers are the higher education in India ought to have as a professional group. Cultural differences sought to be respected. What needs to be minimized are economic disparities and cultural deprivations. Man is not just an object and a product of history. He is the subject and the author of history. Man is not an object and a product of history. He is a subject and author of history. Man makes history. And increasing the concept that cultural difference ought to be respected. What needs to be minimized are economic disparities and cultural deprivations. In every sphere, a teacher is a leader. A teacher must look into the matter that the cultural differences must be respected. And what to be minimized? That is the economic disparities must be minimized. And cultural deprivation is minimized. As you know that culture, there is a link between culture and education. Culture and language. Culture and behavior. Culture and perception. Every culture has its own view of life. So you belong to a culture, and as culture has taught you how to behave. Education only gives you an opportunity to look into what is the professional values. As for the values particular to the academic profession, the National Commission on Teachers 1983 listed acquisition, transmission and addition of new knowledge, social relevance of knowledge, establishing an organic link with the community. These are some of the elements must be looked into. So when you say that Drucker's emphasis on collaboration reflects policy articulation of importance of developing extended professionality in teaching over a more narrowly defined restricted professionality. What is restricted professionality and what is extended professionality? Skills deprived from experience is the restricted professional. Skill derived from mediating experience with the theory is the extended professionality. Limited perspectives based on the immediate time and the place of work, that is restricted. Broader perspectives based on the wider social and educational context. These are some of the very important concepts. How professionalism as an ideology of control. Professionalism has been viewed also as an ideology of control, which which would implicitly mean the professional group exercising self-imposed discipline in order to be more and more accountable to the larger society, which in Indian conditions would mainly refer to the government, since direct community participation in educational governance and finance is almost absent. This is tendency to impose greater controls over professional groups has been witnessed in other societies as well, especially during economic crisis. Attempts on the part of the government to impose control over the British education system is a case of illustrating this tendency. There are also ideological control. One ideology controls other ideology, eliminates other ideology. So if you look at the Marxism, Taoism, their thoughts are different. Their ideology is different. So when we say that all the criteria and categories, the professional growth, professional development, there are two aspects on which we can look into. Sometime in the past, we say teachers were sincere, but there are papers on which it is said ideologically a teacher must be sincere. But the context is that if the paper is saying that teacher must be sincere, that means in the past or that time teachers were not sincere. If it is said that speaking untruth is unholy, then the people of that time might be untrue and false, believing in false. Niveda, what is your response to this approach? That if your literatures describe what is goodness, that means in that society some bad things were prevailing. Hello? Do you
Yes,
agree
sir.
with this? যদি সমস্ত ধর্মগ্রন্থ, সমস্ত লেখা রে কুয়া যাଉଛି जे शिक्षक मान सत्य कहवा दरकार, शिक्षक या हवा दरकार। शिक्षक होउछंती गुरु, शिक्षक समस्त को ज्ञान दान करती। आउ गोटे कहुची जे मु सत्य कहवा उचित। जदि इफ योर लिटरेचर इज सेइंग that you must be sincere, truthful, dutiful, cooperative, it implies that somewhere or other there were some cases of insincerity. Is it true or not?
Sir, if
Nivedita?
good is there, also bad is there.
So if good is there, bad is there. That is also universal appeal. That means in the past when we talk about the period where many good things were happening, there are also the chances that bad things might be occurring, but which has not come out explicitly. But it is true that literature is sufficient enough to understand that where there is good, there is also bad. Bad things were happening. So that means in each profession there is a guideline, professional ethics, because the professionals were not abiding by the ethics, ethical code conduct for which there is the need of professional ethics. So now we are moving to chapter 14, that is unit 14, teachers' intervention in social change. After going through this unity, we can say analyze the concept of a social change, establish a relationship between education and social change, discuss the teacher's role in social change, approaches complementary of the teachers, three major functions, teaching, research and extension, appreciate integration of the teacher's academic responsibility and social commitment. So how education and particularly higher education is related to social change? Education is considered as a very important instrument of social change. Through some social scientists also hold that the view of education could be a means of maintaining the status quo. Education, according to them, is the most important ideological apparatus devised by the ruling classes to serve and preserve their vested interests and thus to maintain a status quo in the economic and political power structure. Do you understand how? Education is not only bringing social change, but also used as an ideological apparatus to preserve the vested interest of some of the political power structure. How education is facilitating social change. All changes implies moving from one position to another. The difficult question is deciding from which position to what position. In a free society, there is bound to be some discussion and controversy about this. Social change indicates changes in social attitudes, behaviors, customs, habits, manners, relationships, values, individuals, groups, and people and institutions. Social change is meant to connote fundamental structural and functional changes in society. So now you can say that how higher education is an apparatus and instrument of social change. Higher education is at the apex of the educational hierarchy, with the crucial and paramount responsibility of generating and acquiring new knowledge and disseminating it. It nurtures the competency of a future leadership in the students who hold the potential to develop the society. It prepares them to successfully carry out different responsibilities for social change and development. Higher education in higher education is higher also because it is at the frontier knowledge, trying to further expand these frontiers. This is very important. And particularly the progressive social role of university and colleges. We can say inculcating in the minds of the students the values enshrined in the constitution. This can be done as and when issues arise during the course of teaching and discussion. The social role of a teacher in Indian context is very interesting. According to Albert, in 1990, the professional role in politics is a widespread and important one, whether as activist or expert. Professors play a great role. Their expertise, ability to communicate, and their access to mass media and those in power make them a powerful but generally unacknowledged force in many societies. So the context is that the role of played by teachers in the past and the role that is being played by present. Teachers in institutions of higher learning had played their roles in the social moments of the 19th or 20th century and also in the national movements. However, the role of teachers are important in two ways that it is different from other professions. It provides the opportunity to serve people, to make them a dedicated social worker, national heroes. The teachers they also play important role. Higher education, there is the appraisal of the situation, what role of a social change can be played by the teachers. The observation that obligations of university teachers are many because they have to play multidimensional role to expedite the process of a change. So let us progress to perhaps the last unit, that is unit 15, the teachers organization. Teacher play important role in social change because change is the law of nature. Change is the law of nature, rule of nature. Academic ethos and teaching professions have come a long way since the time when there are no universities, but only learn men seeking reliable and fundamental knowledge. What would be the learning outcomes of this unit? Define the meaning of a professional organization. Narrate the origin and growth of a teachers organization. Discuss the role of a teachers organizations. What is teachers organization? Teaching got its legitimate status as a profession in the landmark work of A.M. Karsundars and P.A. Wilsons in 1933, who identified 16 professions, including teaching. Teaching is, as we can recall from an earlier discussion based on a body of knowledge, the practitioners of teaching pass through the rigorous path of discipline orientation before they are brought into the scope of a teacher's profession. They commit themselves for the cause of teaching throughout their life. They are bound by a code of conduct. Persons pursuing a profession after assessing their occupational situation come to associate in a professionally meaningful fashion. Such professional organizations promote professionalism of the occupation by contributing towards professional identity and solidarity, autonomy and status. What is shared by Education Commission 1964 and 66? The Commission conceived the role of a teacher organization as a very important input in the professionalization of teaching. It enunciated the following functions of a teacher's organization: to secure their members, individually and collectively, their rightful status, social, economic, professional, to safeguard their professional interests and secure satisfactory conditions of work and survive, to secure the professional growth of teachers through refresher courses, seminars, publications, library services and research, to work for the improvement of education in response to challenge the ever-changing socio-economic situation, to improve the teaching of subject through the establishment of subject teachers associations, and to establish professional code of conduct for teachers to ensure that it is followed by the members. What are the working teachers organizations in India? Review the working teachers organizations in India. A review of working teachers organization in India. A review of working teachers organization in India. May not be out of place here, since on the basis of performance of teachers organization, we can contemplate the future role of organization. Education Commission report that there is a multiplicity of professional organization in India. This is due to the factors like diverse managements class consciousness. So it is said that there are a number of teacher organizations are working. The reason they are appeasing the class consciousness, sectional interests, factions, fights, group rivalries, ideological differences. The common objectives these organizations are promoting socio-economic status of the teachers, improving their professional competence of securing for them participatory status in the formation of educational policies and in the economic field. In the economic field, the teachers also play a major role. Promoting socio-economic status of the teachers, improving their professional competency and securing their participatory status. So these teachers organizations that also protect and promote the socio-economic status. In the economic field, they were successful in getting the salary scales because some organization must be there to look after their interest. Growth of a professional organization of teachers in India. There are certain codes also. Code of a professional ethics proposed by IFACTO. What is IFACTO? All India Federation of University and College Teachers Organization. Full form of IFACTO is All India Federation of University and College Teachers Organization. This organization proposed certain code and conducts, teachers and their role and responsibility. The national ideals of education which have already been set forth and which she seeks to inculcate among the students must be our own ideals. The profession further requires that the teacher should be calm, patient, and communicative by temperament and amiable in disposition. Teachers therefore should adhere to a responsible pattern of conduct and demeanor expected of them by the community. Manage their private affairs in a manner consistent with the dignity of the profession. Seek to make professional growth a continuous process through study, research, travel, participation and professional meetings, seminars and conferences. So why you have to attend seminars? Because you have to develop professional ethics by communicating with your peers, fellow teachers posted at different places. That is professional growth. How there are certain issues we can say that even if nowadays that is free fund for research, and you know that is the ICSR, ICSR, all these research organizations have their own provisions to provide fund. For research, for seminar. This is very interesting. So now, in terms of a salary, the teachers' organizations, they must speak out. You know, there are two structures, UGC, AICT, they have their own salary structures. State government, central government employees, judicial salary structure are different. For example, you might have a question that who controls the salary packages? As you know, the judiciary is different from your all legislative and executive. Whenever we talk about the revision of salary, the revision of a salary is a welfare measure that in every 10 years there need to be changed the salary. That is called pay revision, keeping in view of the constantly changing prices, economic condition. But these teacher organizations has a say in this salary structure. Teachers' perception of the demands and achievements of the organization and the nature of a help sought by them as is revealed in the working of different organizations makes it obvious these organizations are more effective in dealing with the immediate problems of a pay or a job security. This is because the withdrawal of state funding of higher education, which has led to non-implementation of UGC pay scales and service condition, including the lower ceiling of retirement, the middle class preoccupation. But there are many suggestions that how UGC scale was implemented, and UGC suggested that for quality teachers you need to pay more. That's why there is a difference in UGC scale of pay and state scale of pay. As you know, that nowadays the state government is taking the burden of salary of all UGC and non-UGC scale teachers. Almost all the non-government colleges, there is not a single teacher receiving UGC scale pay. There is not a single. Niveta, do you know that? Hello?
No, sir.
Non-government college ଯେତେ ଅଛି ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ କୌଣସିଥିରେ ଟିଚର UGC scale of pay ପାଆନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ. None of the non-government college teachers receive UGC scale of pay. Those who were in the UGC scale of pay in the non-government sector, they have already been retired. But in all universities and government colleges, all are receiving UGC scale of pay. What is UGC scale of pay? Why it is called UGC scale of pay? Elena? Elena? Perhaps she is, I think she
Yes, sir.
is not, yes. Why it is called UGC scale of pay?
Sir, because it is designed by UGC, University Grant Commission,
Your
that is
network.
structured based. Sir, network. Sir, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, now you, yes, you are audible now.
Sir, it is the salary structure designed by the University Grant Commission for different labels and different designations.
No, for different labels and designation does not imply that. As you know, that is every time in 10 years, there is a revision of a salary. So in 26, there will be revision of a salary because the last revision was on 16,
16. Yes, sir. Seventh pay, it will be eighth pay.
8th pay commission.
Yes, sir.
So after this submission of the pay commission's report, this pay commission submits the report for central and state governments employees, not for UGC scale of pay. Those who are receiving UGC scale of pay, similarly UGC will constitute a pay commission. This commission will suggest the package and that will be implemented by the central government and state governments. So the role of a teachers organization is that immediately after the pay commission of a central pay commission, they must press hard to the government to constitute or UGC to constitute UGC pay commission. So all this about to discussion in these 4 to 5 days, we have all discussed the 15 units. I think although it is not bit elaborate, but still then we have touched some vital points. I hope that in somewhere in the future or next time, if again I get a chance to interact with you, I will feel better, and particularly if you have any work or you can come to Rajdhani College, if you have some work in Bhubaneswar or nearby, you can come Rajdhani College and can have a interaction also. So thank you very much. If you have a question, you can ask me.
Oh, sir, thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you so much, sir, for the valuable sessions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So let us quit the platform. Thank you very much. Thank you.